When one thinks about the universe, particularly the Earth, which is where we all live, there are several different opposing viewpoints on how all this came to be. One viewpoint says that basically all this is just random, an accident of nothing. Elements, for some reason unknown, decided to fling themselves together. Reactions of things that didn't exist decided to take place, and it all was done by chance. That the things that were out there floating around were just there. So I decided to examine things a little bit closer and to calculate some odds, to think about how unlikely it is that any life at all would develop anywhere in the universe, or particularly how any life at all would develop here on the Earth. There are literally hundreds of thousands of individual ecosystems all over the Earth. And if you take any individual one of those ecosystems and examine it in its complexity and what it has to have for that ecosystem to continue to exist, you quickly come to realize that you're looking at a miracle. And if you broaden your examination and you inspect things from a little wider angle, and you look at all those hundreds of thousands of ecosystems that are on the Earth at once, you even more quickly find that you're looking at an impossibility. The odds of any one single-celled life form developing here on this planet are hard enough to imagine. The odds of any one multi-cell, complex organism developing on this planet, it takes a long, long stretch to come up with that idea. If you look at any one individual life form on this planet, you're looking at a miracle, just as if you look at each individual ecosystem. And when you look at the diversity of life that is on this planet, it's uncalculable. The odds of this much life being in one place at any one given time, it just doesn't make sense. It's too complex. Everything is dependent upon everything else. Herbivores eat plants, which means you had to have the development of both the animal species and the plant life available at the same time for them to exist. There are over 900,000 species of insects alone living on the Earth today. 900,000 insects. Each insect is a multi-cell complex organism with numerous cells that had to find themselves developing together, working together cohesively to form one creature. Have exoskeleton, internal organs, eyes, sensors, tentacles, all the things involved with the insect working together. And I'm talking about a small form of life, what we would consider an insignificant thing on the planet. Then you think about the more complex life. I mean, insect is pretty complex as far as life goes, but the larger life. Carnivores, herbivores, plant life, reptiles, amphibians, mammals, fish, birds. The list goes on and on. The idea of any of this happening, of one of these happening, is preposterous. Science would have you believe that all of this is just random. But there is no way. If you followed out only one form of life, one very simple form of life, you would see that its survival, if it did struggle its way into existence, would probably be momentary. Because you would have to have the development of such a complex system for anything to survive. Plant life alone, I'm bringing up different points here. Plant life alone is a miracle. Insects alone are a miracle. Mammals alone are a miracle. Reptiles alone are a miracle. Put all this together and you have an impossibility without a creator. It is an impractical, unthinkable thing to think that this planet could have developed by random. That it was just a random chance event. I hear arguments, evolution versus creation. And all the time when I hear these arguments, no one ever really steps back in the way that I'm trying to do and examines what is around them and tries to comprehend the miracle that they're looking at whenever they look at a single oak tree in their front yard. The odds of that oak tree are uncalculable. Okay? To get to the point where you have the proper elements in place to grow an oak tree is a very large order. And what you had to have before you had the oak tree was single individual living cells that decided it was more beneficial to work together than to work separately. Then you had to have different type of cells be able to develop. It just doesn't work. Evolution dictates that life on the planet basically has certain rules and regulations that the strong survive. And that as things evolve, the wrong evolutionary steps are weeded out by a process of simply extinction. If you got that one single cell organism in the beginning, that would have been the most effective way to stay. There are single cell organisms still living today that science will tell us, at least, that were here before anything. They're still around. It's the most effective way to be. A single cell. Replicate yourself. You don't need much. Yet, for some odd reason, science has decided to come up with this theory to where the single cell organisms would then come to work together for benefit. The idea that you could come up with any complex multi-cell organism from this, it doesn't work, guys. Doesn't work at all. The complexity of life on this one single planet testifies to the Creator.